Preparing.
Oh, preparing.
That's pretty funny though. Preparing.
It is.
We're live. I'll call the meeting of,
We got to be louder.
I wish I could, of March 4th to order. Please
We're
state
live,
your-
you guys.
We're live.
Just to let
Sorry. I don't have much of a voice. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry, Madam Chair. I wasn't trying to yell at everybody. Just didn't hear you.
Good morning, everyone. We'll remind you to sign in. It's in the back. And if you come to the podium to speak, please say and spell your last name for the clerk and recorder. Is there any public comment on items not on the agenda that the commission has jurisdiction over? Any public comment?
Something I'd like to share.
Sure.
I had the privilege of attending NACO, which is National Association of Counties conference in Washington, D.C. last week. It kind of went over the previous weekend and into last week. I am a member on the Policy Steering Committee for Economic Development, Workforce, and Labor. It's interesting. It's a different world. We were up there the day of the State of the Union. It was a little bit crazy. I'm glad I live where I live. That's what I will say. But it's a privilege to do that and then represent Montana's interest in what we discuss at MACO on that committee at the national level. So it's great. And thank you to the other two commissioners for holding down the fort while I was away.
Jesse, did you have anything?
I just had the MBAC meeting that was scheduled for tomorrow is canceled and postponed till April 2nd for anybody that was paying attention to that.
I have a couple items. You'll be seeing, you may have already seen some Facebook posts, but you'll see ads and flyers. The airport is having a fly-in on June 13th, and this started out as a little fly-in to show everybody the new airport out there, and it's turning into a big event. 4-H'ers will be cooking breakfast. We've got Billings Clinic will bring, I believe, a helicopter. We're going to have quite a few military. June 13th, it's going to be a really great family day out there at the airport. And it's been really fun to help plan that. Next week on the agenda will be the discussion decision on purchasing the Silos building, which is Silos Road and Beaver Drive. We've talked about that a lot. It's taken many, many months. The idea behind that is search and rescue can store things out there. There's an apartment there. They can have meetings there, be able to take showers, obviously much, much closer to the lake. The Public Works Department will store things out there, have a snowplow out there. Long term, it's my goal to join 2 or 3 of those storage units and create a community room out there so we can have meetings, the community can have meetings. It's much needed, and people can vote there. It will improve that a lot. And this is all from ARPA money that we've set aside for this purpose. So hopefully that will get approved next week. And we have received a lot of public comment about it. I believe Daleen put this on the website yesterday. There's a public hearing for Forest Service April 1st. And I don't know that much about it. What I will read real quickly is the Beaverhead, Deer Lodge, Custer, Gallatin, and Lewis and Clark National Forests are hosting a hearing on the establishment of a 3-forest sustained yield unit in Montana to support local economies and timber industry. So they'll be promoting that, I'm sure, the next few weeks. And we'll have this posted in the hallways.
What's the date?
April 1st from 5 to 7 at Colonial Hotel in Helena. And then I just realized this morning, we changed our clocks this weekend.
Oh.
That's kind of weird. I kind of snuck up on me. I don't know about anybody else. I'm like, didn't we just do that? So,
Why are we still doing that?
right, and that's a good question. But change our clocks.
Yeah.
Is there any other public comment? Any public comment online? Okay, thank you. First item on the agenda is monthly report from Broadwater County Treasurer Melissa Franks.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Franks, Franks, County Treasurer. Did you guys all get the email I sent? Okay. So I'm not quite sure how we're going to do this, but I guess this first one will tell us what I need to do or not do. I guess the first report I'm going to talk about is basically just the daily receipt summary. It shows you where the property tax, how much property tax came in during the month of January, our A1s, and our motor vehicle.
Can you explain, Melissa, what an A1 is?
An A1, sorry, A101 actually, those are the receipts that we make for all the money that comes into our office. It's just what we use to put all that into the system.
Do you want to, can you go over those numbers? And big picture, not each of these individually, but.
You can, is it okay, a summary, is that what we're
Yeah.
hoping? Like a summary of your
Just of
numbers.
everything,
That would be fine.
okay. So, looks like, okay, so between taxes, A1, motor vehicle, we brought in $1,071,426.45 for the month of January. Okay, so other reports, I guess if I'm just going to give you a summary, aren't really going to be necessary. I do have, you guys were asking questions about the treasurer's fee account, and that is in here. It just breaks down on the A1s that we did for the month, a little further breakdown, individual. Does anybody have any questions? Because as far as the summary, I can tell you what we brought in, but I'm not sure what questions you guys are looking for or answers.
I think what we were looking for is just overall, month to month, how many taxes were brought in that month, what's delinquent, how does that compare to last year in January?
Okay.
Well,
what I brought to you was an example of what other treasurers do. None of that was what you just asked for, so I don't have any of that right now with me.
Okay. Okay, let's, we can sit, you and I can sit down and talk this week more about what the MCA says, and I know it's very vague.
Yes, it is, because it doesn't talk about the, the bringing in the delinquent taxes, and I can do that, that's no big deal, but yeah, I didn't mention.
And we don't need names, we just
Oh,
need
heck no.
bottom
Yeah.
line,
What's
this
out
much
there.
has been received, this is delinquent, this is what we're gonna do about it compared to last year.
Okay.
And then other things too. Do you want to give an update
We did,
on your reconciliation?
yeah. As far as the delinquent taxes go, we have sent out our delinquent letters. I believe it was 2 weeks ago, and we have brought in about 30,000 since those went out. We still have quite a bit to go. There's a few of them that we'll need to sit down and talk about whether or not we're going to remove them from the delinquent list. They're government, local government taxes. So we can talk about that. And then our overall, as far as the balancing goes, that's going really well. I'm just now starting February today. It looks like everybody's got everything that they needed to get in for me before I started. So we just finished that up last night. So this morning I'll be working on February. I don't know if you guys saw in that email I sent you an updated version talking about the investments. So if you have any questions on that, but that is as of February. D.A. Davidson does not send out a statement every month. They only do it when there's changes, you know, withdrawals or deposits, and so I don't have that. That's the only thing I don't have at this point. So you just have the December's. If I get anything in the mail in the next day or two, then I'll show that to you later.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
since you were talking about investments,
Mhm.
how are things going with CashFest, which is the 3+1 group looking at investments?
Yeah,
and
that's
optimizing
going
those?
very well. I think they have access, you only access to everything except for they're struggling with Buchanan.
Okay.
And I think that's more on CashVest side than it has to do with Buchanan or us. They need personal information to provide that access, and it sounds like CashVest may not want to do that. And I don't blame them. I mean,
Sure.
so I'm not quite sure where that's going to go. But other than that, everybody's got new access as far as I know.
And to back up, for the public, we've talked about, it's CashVest 3+1. So internally, some of us call it CashVest, some call it 3+1. It is a company that we have contracted with. They will not be telling us what to do, but they will be offering suggestions on how we can take advantage of the savings or the accounts that we have to get the most bang for the buck. How do we get the most interest possible? And they make a guarantee that, I don't remember now what the contract was, 13,000 maybe?
18, I think.
18?
I thought it was 18.
Whatever it was,
Somewhere
their deal
in there.
is they will make you that back. So it's, why not do it? And we've had many, many meetings with them. It's just nice to have somebody else, an outside company that does not have a dog in this fight, they don't even live here, to look at it being very impartial and say, this is a good plan, this one could be better.
And we came in contact with 3+1 through National Association of Counties. They are one of their NACO Edge procurement companies that are recommended.
So we will get more, they have everything or almost everything, so I think there's another meeting Friday maybe
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Melissa,
And-
going back to the delinquent letters that were you sent out, you said there's been, since those letters were sent out, $30,000 about has been
Wow.
received.
Yeah.
How much is left outstanding?
There's I don't know the exact amount, but it's over 200,000. Part of that is also Bridger Brewing. We haven't received that payment yet.
Either of you have more questions?
I did not.
No,
I did not.
I think, just going back to the reports, I think a summary will be really good, just because
Yeah.
there's so much information in what
Oh,
you
yeah.
what you
Yeah.
sent us that it's hard to
Yeah.
kind
Yeah,
of
and like I
funnel through it all.
said, I'm just going by what
Yeah.
another treasurer suggested what they do. And, yeah, they didn't have anything regarding the delinquent taxes, but that is not a problem. I can definitely bring that next time.
Okay, sometime in the next week or so, we'll sit down and give you kind of more what we're looking for. But thank you, this is a good start. This has not been done before, so we appreciate it.
I was just going to say that. It's a new thing, so we're working through it.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
you bet. Thank you.
And before Melissa leaves, just for the public information, the plan is to get these reports on the Wednesday after the 15th of each month. So give her and her staff 2 weeks to get this together, and then it will be a standing item on the agenda. And I believe Melissa is still willing to attend every commission meeting just at the very beginning for public comment, if anybody does have public comment about reconciliation concerns. Next item on the agenda, discussion decision approval of Broadwater Rod and Gun Club grant for sporting clays expansion in the amount of $23,350.94 from the Broadwater County Trust Board. I will be recusing myself from this. I'm on the board of the Rod and Gun Club.
Steve McCullough, MCCULLOUGH, Broadwater County Trust. The request amount from the Rod and Gun Club was $23,350.94, and this is basically to expand the Indian Creek Sporting Clay range. The participation has increased dramatically, and we need to expand it. So Trust Board looked at it thoroughly, and that's a good presentation. Mr. Peck's here representing the club if you have further questions, but it's a good, solid recreational endeavor. So, any questions?
I do not have any questions.
I didn't have questions either. Well, I didn't have questions specifically about the grant. I support the grant with the Trust Board. I have a dumb question, though. Okay,
There's no
it's a
such
dumb,
thing
it's
as
a
a
dumb
dumb
question.
question.
Because Rod and Gun has the trap here on Canton Lane and expanding Indian Creek. Are those, it's a dumb question, can you use the same, can you do additional sporting clays? No, you can't use the same trap houses or.
Sporting clay is totally different than trap.
I knew it was, I just didn't know if
Yep.
the, what do you call the machines? The trap shooting, is that?
Trap shooting, you got a pillbox.
Contraptions,
shooting over.
yeah.
It's a
Okay.
160-degree range. Sporting clays, they go up in the air, they go down on that. It replicates hunting. This is a rabbit.
Right,
This
right.
is fleshing quail.
I just didn't know if the same
Machines.
machine could be used, yeah.
No,
Okay, that was my,
not at all. That's
just my dumb question. No, because
obviously
it is
need to pick up
popular.
a shotgun and get practice. Obviously, that's-
I like shooting shotguns. I have shot sporting clays. I just didn't know the technical detail on the machines. That's all. Thank you.
You bet.
That's my only question. Thanks for calling me out too, Steve. I'm gonna have to get my act
Do
together
you have
on
any
shotguns.
questions of Mr. Peck?
No.
I didn't. It was a very well put together
Yeah.
application. I attended the Trust Board meeting, so I sat through that, and you guys did a great job. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the Broadwater Rod and Gun Club grant for the Sporting Clays expansion in the amount of $23,350.94 from the Broadwater County Trust Board.
I will second that. So we have a motion and a second to approve the Broadwater Rod and Gun Club grant for the Sporting Clays expansion in the amount of $23,350.94 from the Broadwater County Trust Board. Is there any further discussion? No? Okay. Hearing none. Any discussion online? Public comment online? Okay. Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I don't know where our Chairwoman Rickmeyer went.
Oh, not Rick Meyer.
Or not Rickmeyer.
Jeez.
Sorry, Randolph.
What a place today. There she is. Welcome back. Brad, thanks for coming, by the way.
Yes, thank you. Next up,
You guys did everything?
we did.
Awesome. You didn't hear words. I'm like, I thought you had a question for me.
No,
All right. Next item. Search and rescue grant for a new lake. That went really fast. New lake boat in the amount of $123,726.50. Grant
Okay, to follow up on that, the commission, we had one of our, the fellow who owned the paper, Don Murphy, in 1984, drowned out here, and we had no way of the private boats to recover. And so the commission at that period of time, in 1984, bought a boat. They're still using that same boat. It no longer, they can't get parts for it, et cetera, et cetera. It's still a functional boat, but was not designed for search and rescue. So this one is designed for search and rescue. It has platforms on the back. It has, through the hull is expanded to carry a stretcher if necessary. There's a sideboard, like you see when they pull a big tuna in, they kick the door open and pull it in. They've got that, and that's for, if somebody's in the water, how do you get them up over the side? So it's a well-designed boat. Total cost initially was $220,000. The manufacturer knocked off $40,000 because it was a search and rescue boat. So that brought, of course, our price down to $123,726. But it's a very well laid out boat. We should get a lot of years out of it. So the trust board did approve that. Any questions?
This one's a jet boat as well?
It is. Inboard jet.
Okay.
And how long will it take them to get this boat?
Nearly a year.
That's what I.
Where it's custom designed. And it was engineered that Tim McAlpine and Search and Rescue spent a fair amount of time with the manufacturer on this. So it's designed for exactly what they're after.
If I remember right, it needs 12 inches of water is all to be able to float, so you can also maybe use it potentially going up the river.
Very much, we could use it between here and,
Yeah.
Oh,
Come up to the microphone.
thank you. Morning, everybody. Timothy McAlpine is my name. And yes, the dead idle draw on that boat is 12 inches. Under full plane, it's 10 inches.
Wow.
So even on a day like today, with the amount of water that we have in the river today, there's just one spot between here and Tossin Dam that we couldn't get through, and that's up by Jackie Smith's old ranch up there. That's got about 6 inches of water in it right now, but with rising water, there's no problem at all getting from, if we need to, if we've got a bad deal. Of course, we have a jet boat for the river now. We have that small half-foot boat for the river now. And same thing, above Tossin Dam, we get called all the way to Three Forks. So, with some water in the river, if there's a bad situation, if we can get the big boat to them, we sure could. Because it draws 10 inches while it's running on full plane, 12 inches when she's at the dead idle. And that's pretty good for a 23-foot boat.
I know this was brought up at the trust board meeting also, but currently there's no plan for the old boat. And that's up to the sheriff's department, is that correct? On whether they're going to keep it, sell it?
We are going to sell it. Sheriff's Department is going to
Okay.
sell it. Eric and I have talked about it. We figure that probably our best market for that boat will be other search and rescues, other county search and rescues that need a boat.
Sure.
So Eric's going to start spreading the word, just kind of rubbing elbows with other presidents. He's going to start spreading the word for us.
Perfect.
That's where we're going to start to market as other search and rescues, yeah.
Perfect.
And will that money, when that boat is sold, is that part of the cash consideration, or you do have the cash even if you don't sell the boat?
I don't know, Debbie. I don't know that part of it, what would happen to that cash, if it would go back into a search and rescue account or...
This cash is separate.
This cash is set, they
Yes.
have this already?
Yes.
Okay, that was my,
Yeah.
thank you. Are there any other questions?
you asked what I was
Comments?
going to ask.
What's
You
that?
asked what I was going to ask. Thank you.
Is there a motion?
I would move to approve the Broward County Search and Rescue Grant for a new lake boat in the amount of $123,726.50 from the Broward County Trust Board.
I'll second that.
So any public comment on the purchase of the boat? Any public comment? Any public comment? There's a motion and a second to approve the grant from the search and rescue for the lake boat. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you and congrats.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
One for your information, we are requesting a transfer of $200,000 from First Premier into the county trust account.
That will be on next week's agenda.
Yep.
Okay, very good.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming, Steve.
Thank you. Thanks, Tim.
Next item on the agenda is Nicole Brown, Community Development and Planning Director, Koblenz Family Transfer Exemption Request. Do you want to set up over here?
And Madam Chair, I'll be recusing myself for this one.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you, Madam Chair. Nicole Brown, Broadwater County Community Development Director and Planner, here to present the Koblenz Family Transfer. This is a topic that you have seen at a few meetings. Just to recap, this is a family transfer exemption request. Mr. Jonas Koblenz is requesting to transfer a parcel to his wife, Nancy Koblenz, of property he owns. This was tabled at the, I want to say, February 11th meeting. I may have that date incorrect. But that is because our Broadwater County Legal Department determined that family transfer exemption requests should complete the exemption application as well as the family transfer affidavit that has been created by the Attorney General's office. So this topic was tabled at that meeting. The proverbial clock was stopped and restarted once the exemption application was received. So all of that to say that the deadline for the governing body to take action on this topic is, find my affidavit, or I want to say March 26th. No, I'm sorry, March 18th. March 18th.
The 18th?
Yes. So you do not have to make a decision today, but you should have all the materials in front of you, the staff report, the certificate of survey, and the family transfer affidavit, as well as the exemption application form and my staff report. Madam Chair, I have read my staff report into the record, and we've discussed this previously, but I'm happy to read the staff report again, should you choose. So I will simply serve at your pleasure, Madam Chair.
Because it has been some time, certainly don't read your staff report in detail, but very high highlights.
Yes, ma'am.
From a high level, I guess is what I'm saying. Just to refresh everybody's mind,
Absolutely.
please.
So this property is 102.7 acres. Direct access from Galzagori Road, which is a county road. It's owned by Mr. Jonas Koblenz. He's requesting to gift 61.59 acres to his wife, Nancy Koblenz. What else can I tell you? The reason for the exemption request is for estate planning purposes. This is the third exemption being proposed on the parcel. This parcel was previously, there was a retracement survey done in 2014, and then a boundary relocation and aggregation in 2015. It's also important to note that this property was part of a subdivision in 2016. Through court action, that subdivision was rescinded. So this is not a part of a subdivision. Although you can do a family transfer within a subdivision, I really just want to stress this is not a part of a subdivision. because of that judgment. Land in all directions is agricultural. And since both parcels, currently it's one parcel, but if this family transfer exemption were approved, both parcels would be greater than 20 acres, so they are not subject to DEQ, Department of Environmental Quality Review and Approval, for on-site wastewater, septic, and water, residential potable water. They would be, those locations would be reviewed and approved by our Broadwater County sanitarian. So no DEQ review or approval.
And there is a house being built on which tract?
Madam Chair, let me find my survey. It appears, I should note that Commissioner Rickmeyer and myself did drive out to this location, oh gosh, maybe a month or so ago. And it did appear that there was a house under construction, I want to say on the second amended tract 3, if I was identifying the flags, the markers appropriately.
Yeah, and I drove out there shortly after you all did, so yeah,
Okay.
it's probably been a month.
Okay.
Commissioner Rickmeyer, do you have any questions or comments?
I have comments. Looking at all this, and this has been in front of us for a while. We've got a solidly documentation through the whole process of the Koblenz timeline application, purchase of the property, quitclaim deeds, applications for addresses, for water, wastewater. I believe there is an order and timing issue with this. It is on us to decide if something is an evasion of subdivision. I think this is. This could have probably been done by now if it was a minor subdivision, is my opinion. I believe we have solid documentation through this whole thing. And to keep it as a summary, and I'm happy to answer more questions if anyone has more questions, but the land was purchased together, Koblenz and Miller. Mortgage was done together. There was an intent from the beginning to use the family transfer to divide the property. The quitclaim deed timing, the Millers quitclaimed the property to Jonas, yet the Millers, a few days later, are applying for a septic permit for the home that's currently being built. They don't have the property in their name. They applied for, like I said, septic permit and address. Koblenz's apply for an address on what would be the transferred parcel. This was all done ahead of time. The house is being built by the Millers. They don't own the property. There's a lot of questions here for me. Millers are not listed. They don't, but they have the building home on the retained parcel. What would be the retained parcel? I think this has all been done out of order, and honestly, it could have been done easily with a minor subdivision. That allows the right review process. I do not believe that we have been sticklers on family transfers over the past year. We're looking at these. We're saying yes to most of them. There were so many questions with the timing and the order on this. That's what I have.
I completely agree. I've never seen a family transfer with this many steps already completed and in a wonky way.
Right.
I don't know what else to say. To follow it was very hard. Who's signing what and when, and speeding it along as Commissioner Rickmeyer said, so many family transfers are simple. This one is certainly more complicated, and that doesn't necessarily mean it should not move forward. I get back to the intention of family transfer is to create property for a spouse, a child, spouse to spouse. I get it. This, I'll just be honest, I think this is evading subdivision review. Spent much more time looking at this than I have any other family transfer that has come across us since I've been here for 5 years. I don't know what else to say.
I don't know where in the process or what point or who advised you to do a family transfer. I believe a minor subdivision would have been the way to do it from the start. It would have been easy. It can be done pretty quick. I know there's some expense to it. It's worth it. It's clean. It's done right. That's what needs to happen for that one. I didn't have anything else. That was.
I don't either. As Director Brown said, we have had this on the agenda several times. We've talked, we've looked, gone through the open records in the vault. So, is there a motion?
I move to deny the Koblenz family transfer exemption request.
I will second that motion. Is there any public comment on the Koblenz family transfer? Any public comment?
Chuck Hahn, HAHN. I appreciate the commissioners recognizing that this is an evasion of the family transfer exemption process. Do have one question though. The applications that have been filed through this process, which as you've noted has been ongoing for quite some time, have changed. Questions in them. Has there been a change in the application form? Because the application that was filed originally, which has been the application that was used in all the family transfer exemptions I've seen, requests that I've seen here, was included a question on section 5 under O number 3, any person other than the immediate family members interested in purchasing or developing any of the parcels involved in this division of land. That one is no longer in the current application. You have already overturned or set it aside, but that I think needs to be clarified going forward. How did that application get changed?
Madam Chair?
Yes, please.
May I?
Yeah, of course.
Chuck, you seem to have, I listened to the meeting from last week when I was gone. You seem to have kind of a list. Is there any way you could provide a list in writing what you are concerned with, on the applications? Yeah. That would be very helpful.
I will do that. Because that's one of the important questions, especially in this one here. So I'm just curious as to how the change happened. It's almost like it was tailored for this.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Madam Chair, may I respond?
Yes,
please. The exemption application form has not been amended. And unfortunately, I don't have, the only exemption application form I have in front of me is the one that was presented by Mr. Koblenz. So I don't have anything to compare it to see if any questions have been eliminated.
Okay. I do have those with me if you want to look at them.
But to answer your specific question, no. The next item, obviously, on the agenda is the subdivision exemption process and application.
Maybe that's the better place to bring this up. But
certainly,
I'm just
but,
making it aware.
But that question, just to very clearly answer your question, has not been removed by the county. There's been no amendment to the exemption application form by the county to date. only proposals.
Okay. I'll address it in
Okay,
this next
okay.
phase. Thank you.
Is there any other public comment? Bernadette?
Bernadette Swenson, SWENSON, from Schauber Surveying. I just want to clarify Chuck's question. I believe the original application that was signed by Mr. Koblenz was from our office, and it was an outdated copy of the application. So when Mr. Koblenz, and it might have been a draft or, I don't know, it was just what was in our files. But when Mr. Koblenz came back in, when he had to do the application after the affidavit, the rules, you know, the regulations kept changing here in between all of this. So after he did the affidavit and needed to redo the application, we made sure we went to the county website and printed the copy that was online for use. And that's why there might have been some different questions. We inadvertently must have used an old copy or a draft, but we made sure the second one was off of the county website.
Okay. Okay, so the first one that he used could have been different.
It could have been.
Okay.
Yes. And I know when I was looking at them, and there was some differences with two different versions we had at our office, I made sure I went to the county website to make sure I got the current one.
Okay, thank you for that.
Especially after so many questions.
Any other public comment? Anything online? There is a motion and a second to deny the Koblenz family transfer exemption request. All those in agreement signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is Nicole Brown, Community Development Planning Director, Broadwater County Exemption Review Process and Application Amendments.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I may address a comment that was made at the previous commission meeting, there was a question from a member of the public as to whether or not a family transfer exemption that was submitted in January of 2026, if they would be required to go back and complete the subdivision exemption application. That question, that was during public comment at your last commission meeting. I was not present during public comment, so I apologize that I was not here to answer that question. But I would like to address it publicly after the fact. I did meet with our legal department, and the answer is no. They will not be required to go back, if you will, and complete the subdivision exemption application. The previous family transfer that was approved in January of 2026. And the reason for that being the legal opinion at the time was such that only the family transfer affidavit would need to be completed. And upon further review, legal opinion shifted, if you will, and now we are requiring the family transfer affidavit as well as the exemption application form. So I hope that answers the question that was presented during public comment at the last commission meeting. So, that was not on the agenda. I wanted to address that publicly.
Thank you.
Okay, moving forward. If we can, this is one topic, correct? You have this as one topic, the exemption process and the exemption form, right? These are not separated out. So if I may, let's work on the exemption process first. So if I can draw your attention to that document. This exemption process we have discussed for a few weeks now. This is a process that I would like to see adopted by the county commissioners. The document itself is not so important to be adopted as the process. And you commissioners obviously have free will and can choose to adopt the process or not. Typically, we don't adopt processes, but the purpose for this being spelled out in black and white, Commissioner Swenson and I spent many weeks. Commissioner Swenson was actually the author of this document to start with, and then he and I worked on it. We brought in our Broadwater County Sanitarian to kind of fine-tune this process. And the reason for that being we, as staff and electeds, we know the process. We know where things are at through the life cycle, if you will, of an exemption submittal. But someone from a member of the public that wants to start this process, they may not know what this looks like from start to finish, and they may not know where they're at in the process. So really, it was just a matter of putting it down on paper and really spelling it out in black and white on how this exemption process is going to go when you submit a subdivision exemption in Broadwater County. So, and we've talked through this. I'm happy to go through this list again. I don't want to bore you by going through it again unless you choose to ask me to do so. But it's been posted online. We've spoken about it. Staff and electeds have met to discuss this process, and I feel like it's a really good path moving forward. I'm happy with the document, but again, happy to take any suggested edits for review and consideration.
Director Brown, as we go through these, not today, but in practice, oftentimes or sometimes we'll set up something and then realize, oh, that's not working. So it's a living document. Hopefully this covers everything, but things come up, oh, that wasn't what we expected. We've done that, and that's valuable. You can't just stick to something you did if it's not working. So I just want to bring that up. This is what we have now. Hopefully it's going to be going in the future, and we'll never need to change. But it is a
Never, ever.
Never, ever. But
Yeah.
if we find something that needs to be tweaked or deleted or added to, we will do that as the process goes on.
Until at least the next
Yes,
legislative
yes,
session.
yes,
But
yeah,
it can change
right.
everything.
Fair,
So it's-
fair.
That's how that goes.
I don't have any questions at this time. I did when we started this, and it's been fine-tuned, and I think this is going to be helpful to everybody, a process. I was speaking last week with people in a different county. His neighbor's 20 acres, and he thought, my friend who has 20 acres next to this, or 40, I don't remember well, he can just start selling off an acre or two. And it was a social event, and I didn't want to. I said, well, you might talk to your people at Jefferson County, because people just don't understand that until you get into it. So I think this is very helpful. So I didn't have any edits.
I didn't. I having worked from the subdivision exemption side from as a commissioner from the real world aspect of it, I think this would really help. We kind of compared it to a lot of surrounding counties, not just surrounding, kind of all over the place counties, and mirrored a lot of what they're doing. And I think it's going to kind of gives it a good practical application of the review process. So I think it'll be a good step.
I agree.
I think it's very as clear as it can be to the public when they come in and they know nothing about this. I think it's simple, but it still gives us what we need, which is not always easy to accomplish.
Are we doing these one at a time for a motion, or do you want to do them both together?
We can do them both together.
Okay.
And like I said, down the road, if one needs to be revised, one can be revised on its own. Doesn't have to. Is there a motion?
Go ahead.
No, are we doing them to?
Did we need to review the other one?
We're doing them
Reviewing the
I
together.
thought we were reviewing. I'm sorry. I thought we were reviewing the packet.
Oh, just the process? What,
I was thinking of both of them, but she did say just the process.
Madam Chair,
You go.
may I respond?
Please.
I think when
Yeah,
when
how
I
would you
initially
like it to be?
began my presentation, I said, of course, you have the ability to adopt the process, to make a motion to adopt the process or not. I think it may be more appropriate, after listening to you speak about amending the process, it may be more beneficial for you to support the process. I know that's a little less formal, because if you do make a motion to adopt the process, I or any staff member would be required to come back to you to amend the process, right? Which could be as simple as, we're finding the in-person meeting isn't working, the staff meeting, or something along those lines. But really, that would be your preference. Do you want this to be a process that's adopted formally by the commissioners that then is amended only through an action of the commissioners? Do you want to allow staff the ability to amend that process as staff sees fit? Myself likely being the only staff member, possibly the sanitarian. So.
The current exemption process is in our subdivision regs. So I feel like this would replace that portion of the subdivision regs, so it would have to be adopted here at this meeting.
Yeah.
Fair point.
That's my thought.
What? I'm going to change. I think we should adopt these separately.
Okay.
And I mean adopt, because if they need to be changed, which probably will happen at some point, I think it should come back through this process for public comment. So I changed my mind. Okay.
It happens.
So, is there a motion for the subdivision exemption process?
I move to approve the subdivision exemption process.
I will second that.
Is there any public comment on the subdivision exemption process? Is there any public comment? Any public comment?
I think I'm going to need to get my name on a plaque right here. Chuck Hahn, H-A-H-N. Question is, what you're proposing, or what I've at least downloaded from the website, is the subdivision exemption process, is that correct?
That is correct.
So
Sorry,
it's a
Madam Chair.
two-page
Oh, please.
document.
Yes.
And then subdivision exemption form, which is, like a 4-page document. So
That's separate, right?
these documents, do they take the place of an application, or is the application still going to be, like the current procedure, the family transfer exemption claim procedure includes all the questions and things that can be answered. So is that going to be included with this as well?
Madam Chair, may I respond?
Please.
Mr. Hahn, this subdivision exemption form, which I will get to next, because I believe the commissioners wanted to keep them as two separate motions. So currently the motion is on the process. My next presentation will be on the form, just to make that clear. This subdivision exemption form will replace the subdivision exemption application that we are currently using.
Okay. Okay. If that's the case, I would not agree that you're doing the proper thing. You're taking away all the language that you need to create a rebuttable presumption.
Madam Chair, what you're talking about is on the form on the application, not on the process. So you would need to talk about that during
Next.
the next presentation.
And I probably confused things, so I apologize. Right now, we're just going to deal with the process. I know.
There's so many words.
I know, so many. And it is very confusing, obviously.
Yeah, I would say it is very confusing.
The process is just telling the public what they're going to do, what their steps are going to be.
What is the issue with the current process?
There really isn't anything this is like a checklist in my mind. This is the process.
Yeah. And it's changing the review process slightly from the
Yeah.
county side, because we're going to meet in person
Yes.
prior to this meeting, just to do the review of the exemption. And then bring the findings to this meeting so that it kind of streamlines the process a little bit better at the public meetings.
Yeah, it's setting the clear expectations of what to
Yes.
expect. If you're someone coming in
Yeah.
to do this,
Okay.
here's what the timeline looks like, here's what you expect, and then here's the checklist, here's what you turn in.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
just
I was
I mean,
just-
it's,
informational,
Yeah.
educational.
My curiosity was why this one, the current one didn't fit the bill.
Because there really hasn't been one.
yeah.
And we have this new committee that will meet to go over it, maybe to find any mistakes or needed actions before it ever gets here.
Right.
Okay, I'll sit down till the next.
Get an exercise track.
Madam Chair, can I
Yes.
respond to that briefly? Our current regulations do outline the subdivision exemption process, but they do not comply with MCA because a lot of the ability to approve and/or deny an exemption falls on the subdivision administrator, but MCA requires it to go before the governing body. So we are hoping to amend the process in order to amend the regulations to comply with MCA. Because the process the actual process we've been taking does comply with MCA.
Right.
But but maybe not our regulations. I guess I don't want to say that. I'm not an attorney. But anyway, so I think this new process will bring us into compliance
There you go.
with MCA and align us with the actual process as we're performing it.
Thank you. Okay, there's a motion and a second to approve the subdivision exemption process. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, now we will discuss the subdivision exemption form.
All right, Madam Chair, the subdivision exemption form you have before you is the proposal based on, again, my meetings, plural, with Commissioner Swenson and discussing the subdivision exemption form that we have currently in place. How can we maybe fine tune that and ask the most thoughtful questions we deemed necessary? And when I say we, it was the two of us as we were going through the application form currently. Obviously, the name of the document is subdivision exemption form. It's not application, it's subdivision exemption form. There are different sections based on the type of exemption, being claimed. There is a cover page, obviously asking pertinent information about the property as it exists at the time of the exemption submittal. And then there is the signature page at the back of the document. And we did not require, I guess Commissioner Swenson, I do not believe that we required this to be notarized, a notarized page. Is that correct, sir?
Yeah, we talked about it at length. And whether it's notarized or not, it doesn't make too much difference to me. I know notaries are getting harder to find. The reason being the plat is notarized, or the certificate of survey is notarized. So when they are formally adopting it, it will be notarized anyways. I'd be open if we want to notarize it. That, like I said, it's not neither here nor there to me. I just didn't think it was a necessary step. If you're requesting a family transfer, the affidavit from the Attorney General's office does have to be notarized. That's requested, or that's on their end. So that's where we kind of fell with the notary from my
That
memory.
was one of my questions.
And if I may, sorry.
Yeah, please.
I apologize,
No,
Madam
go.
Chair. If I may add just a little bit to that, one of the other reasons for not requiring the notary signature, again, it was, we landed on 51 and 49%, right? It was really irrelevant. But this exemption form, while I do scan it in and I create electronic files, I don't save the original documents. The exemption form is not being recorded with the plat, so it felt like a little bit of a formality that was not necessary and maybe an extra step that's not necessary. And as Commissioner Swenson said, when it is slightly more cumbersome to obtain notary stamp and seal. So that is all.
I will ask Clerk and Recorder Paulson.
Madam Chair.
Because you are the subject expert on documentation. Do you have any thoughts, notarized or not?
Madam Chair, thank you for asking the question. I'm Angie Paulson, Paulsen, Broward County Clerk and Recorder. As far as notarization goes, really what a notary does is just verify that that person is who they say they are. The notary verifies with an ID that this is the person. If this document is not being formally recorded in my office, is that what I'm understanding?
May I respond?
Please.
That is correct, ma'am. That is correct.
I don't know that it would be necessary to have a notarization. However, it also wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, that's right.
And as far as notarizations go, we do notarize in our office for these types of documents. We're available. And so I won't get into the legalities of notarizing all documents, but for these, we are available to notarize anytime that we're open.
And there's no charge.
And there's no charge, absolutely. So, like I said, I think it's 50-50 on that.
Yeah.
What other document, Madam Chair, was required to be notarized? It was the Attorney General document. Which one was that?
The
Did you
family,
say?
sorry,
Oh, go ahead.
the family transfer affidavit that was drafted by the Attorney General right at the end of the year last year.
An affidavit.
That has to have it, notarization on it.
Madam Chair, I suppose if you notarize a document, that means that that document is final. It can't be changed. They're saying what I've said on here is true, and they sign it, and they are who they say they are. So, it's kind of actually a very tough decision for you to make there. And Madam Chair, did Director Brown say that she would just shred this document when it's complete, or?
May I
she's not
respond?
keep it?
That is correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Because there really is no reason for me to keep these exemption forms in my office. I do scan them in, so I have an electronic copy of it, should we ever need to reflect back on that. But there's really no reason for me to keep the paper form of the document.
Okay, Madam Chair, is this document then a permanent document, even scanned in? Or is it?
It goes in the file, but I guess I don't know the definition of permanent record. The affidavit is. I think this is more internal almost.
Do we, as
I don't.
we collectively as county, for other applications, for whether it's driveway permit, address application, do we have any other applications notarized?
Not that I'm aware of.
May I respond? The application forms coming out of my office, and I also feel very comfortable speaking for the Environmental Health Office. No, the answer is no. And Public Works Department for the driveway approach permit. Those documents, those application forms, if you will, are not notarized. They're simply signed.
That makes me feel more comfortable not having them notarized.
So, Madam Chair, I guess the only other application I'm thinking of is like a petition for signatures for road abandonments. We verify those signatures in the voter file. So in a way, it's a signature verification.
That's
A notary is a signature verification as well.
Madam Chair. This couple, it's with the affidavit, right? That's swearing? No.
Madam Chair, may I respond?
Please.
Not always. The affidavit is only for family transfers. This exemption form would be for boundary locations, agricultural, parcel creations, aggregations, basically any exemption that's being used. So it will not always be coupled with the family transfer affidavit.
Okay, Madam Chair, I think you're okay to not have it notarized. do think you're okay.
And the final document, this
Yeah,
certificate of survey
yeah.
that's filed is notarized, so.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a long discussion, but we got
And you
there.
just keep it as a record, should we ever have to go back. It's there.
No, I don't know about record keeping this kind. Okay,
All right.
now we can get to the document.
Now you know
Jeez.
what conversations are like.
10 minutes of our lives we'll never get back.
Right.
I did not have any questions on this document, on the exemption form.
I had a couple things that, having a couple weeks to think about. So in the subdivision regulations for the exemption review criteria, one of the items is, that's the first one. So it's a 9BII, so 9B2A1, is the nature of the claimant's business. I feel like if we're going to have that as part of the regulations, we should have it as part of the form, just so that we're not having to ask them at the meeting. So that was one of the things, just under the petitioner, property owners is name, address, phone, email, adding another line, just putting occupation. Just if we're going to review for it, it might as well be on the application so that we have something to review. And then one other thought was, I know it's kind of been talked about, is whether there's a lien or mortgage on the property. And I know Director Brown and I, we talked about it, the county has no legal standing if there is a lien on the property to deny or approve. The landowner does have the responsibility to check with their lending agency to make sure if the land is being divided, that the lending agency is okay with that. So I'm thinking just like after number 6, add a disclaimer, or number 7 or something, and just making some sort of a disclaimer that says it more eloquently than this, but that the county is not responsible for it, that the landowner is responsible for verifying with their lending agency that the proposed division is acceptable. Just so that it's very clear on here that the county it's not on us, it's on the landowner to verify, since they're the ones signing it. Those are just 2 suggestions that I had.
I had a question. I know that on the older application, I was just looking at one we have, I was actually looking at the Koblenz one. Mortgage exemption says it also requires the following, and there's a list there. Please remind me why we didn't include that in this one moving forward. Was it deemed just unnecessary by default? I can't remember what was discussed there.
What section?
For which one?
What
Yeah.
section from the old application?
So the old application on page 5 at the top, it says mortgage exemption also requires the following. And then there's about 2, 3, 4, 5 bullet points under there.
Some of them, in my opinion, are incorrect.
Okay.
Like the third one, a statement explaining who will have title and possession to the balance of the original parcel after the title to the exempt parcel is conveyed. The parcel is not conveyed unless you default on the loan.
Okay.
So, and mortgage exemptions are unique in the fact that the lending agency has to request it. So typically what happens if I had 160 acres and I'm trying to get a mortgage on my house, they don't want to put the whole property under the
Right.
lien, so they just
Right.
require a 2-acre, whatever it is, around the
Right.
house. That parcel is only created if you default on the loan, and then the bank will take the house and the 2 acres, and you get to retain the rest of it.
So this really wasn't necessary to have the additional.
In my opinion, because the draft deed, trust indenture, mortgage for the exempt parcel, there isn't a deed for it until you default.
Okay.
How many parcels would be shown on the COS? The
I'm-
signed statement from the lending agency, we're requiring that. Documentation lending institution is a finance. I don't know, at that point, if we're gonna verify that a bank is a bank, I don't want to be responsible for that.
Right. Yeah, right, right. I'm wondering previously, I don't remember when this was added or if this was there before, because we went through this, what was it, a year and a half ago? If like it was there in case there was a default, we already had the information ready to go to roll over for our purposes. I don't know if that's.
I would assume, that I don't like making assumptions, but having not ever done a mortgage tract for myself, I would assume the bank would have those documents because they're the ones that are going to be filing to take the parcel back. So I like I said, I'm thinking that that's between the landowner and the bank, the lending institution, to have those documents in place so the lending institution has the authority, has the documentation to take the parcel back.
Okay. The statement of how many parcels within the original tract would be created by use of the exemption, is obvious in
The COS.
the COS. Yeah, okay. So that would be redundant. So really, should something happen and someone default on a mortgage exemption, we would have the information for the bank and be able to show the bank as the,
I would think, like, if somebody, like, let's say I had a house and I defaulted, the county wouldn't do anything. That would be between the
Wouldn't
bank
matter.
and myself.
and then it would be changed on cadastral, it would be
Yeah.
changed like.
The bank would go through the process
DOR,
of
okay.
recording the documents at
Okay.
the clerk and recorder
Because-
to retain ownership.
Okay, because we would already have the COS
Yep.
from, okay. Okay, thank you.
Are there any more changes that you want or see, or?
Not that I have at this time, no.
The supplemental questions were taken out. Why? Sorry, you guys, it's been, I feel like we've been looking at these, they've been kind of circulating for a while, and I can't remember why those were taken out.
So with conversations with Director Brown, looking at the supplemental questions that were listed,
Mm-hmm.
we kind of discussed and whether or not the county has the legal authority to deny any of these because of those questions. And if we don't have the authority to deny because of it,
Why ask it?
why ask it?
How are we asking that?
Okay. That was my guess.
Do y'all want to move forward with this today, or with the subdivision exemption form? Or we can look at it all together.
I'm fine either way.
I wouldn't mind one more week to look at it. Just the exemption form. Obviously, we already approved the process looks good.
Okay.
I agree with what you're saying about if we can't take any action or base a decision on these questions. At the same time, I'm reading them again. I'm like, are there some questions in there that might be good for us to have that information? Just to know, because it is, as we receive these, it is not always easy to deep dive and get history into things, as we saw with the most recent one. And sometimes it is nice to have some things that make you go, oh, huh. But I understand, I'm following you. If we can't base a decision off it, why have it? Is there ever a case where it's just good to know any of those, or have that information? Like, do you own more than one parcel? Whatever, that doesn't matter. Maybe why are you proposing the division of land? I mean,
Which that's on the application.
it is. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
I think we put the subdivision exemption form on next week's agenda and really try to get it nailed down and
Yeah.
approved then, so we can move forward with the next step.
I apologize, guys. I know
No.
I hate
No.
making things drag out longer,
No.
but
If they
Madam
need
Chair.
to be, they need to be. Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Commissioner Swenson had 2 recommended edits.
Yes.
Do you think it would be prudent for me to make those edits on this document, highlight them in yellow, red, orange, whatever, and post that online?
That was going to
Yes.
be my request of you. So thank you.
Perfect.
It's your idea now. So.
No, it was
Yes.
solely his idea.
But in some italics or some color,
Oh,
so it's
perfect.
very visible to the public and to us.
Can I ask a follow-up question of Commissioner Swenson?
Sure.
So under acknowledgements, I've added a statement. I just want to be sure that I'm capturing your proposed edit appropriately, sir. Under item number 6, acknowledgements, a statement that says, if the property is encumbered by a lien, it is the sole duty and responsibility of the landowner to notify their lending institution. Does that capture your statement?
And that sounds way better than
Accurately.
what I said. So, yeah.
it's very fancy. Did you use AI on your phone to do that while we were sitting here?
No, I think that sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yes, to somehow document the draft, or,
Mhm.
Okay, we will have that on the March 11th. Jim?
Do we want to open up for public comments
I
on
was
it?
just about to. Is there any public comment on the subdivision exemption form?
I know Chuck's spinning back there.
He knows where to go. He knows how many steps it is.
Again, it's Chuck Hahn, H-A-H-N. So now, is now the proper time to ask if there is still a different, or an application, the current one that's on your website? Is that the application that will have to be filed?
Madam Chair, may I respond? That is correct, sir. No, you're fine. That is correct, sir.
Okay.
The subdivision exemption application form that is currently online is the latest and greatest. That is the only one that would be able to be used until the commissioners take action to adopt a new process.
Yeah. And then I do have, I guess, a second question about that application, because Bernadette had indicated that when she had done some of the earlier ones, which, as near as I can tell, was all of the previous family transfer exemption applications, that it was an older form. When would that form have been updated, and how was it updated?
Madam Chair, can I respond?
Yes.
Mr. Hahn, I do not recall the exact date that was updated or how it was updated. The only way that the exemption form can be updated is by an action of the commissioners. So we'd have to go back and look and see at the date stamp on my document to see when it was adopted,
Okay.
and compare that to the commissioner minutes. So I'm sorry that I don't have an answer for you at this moment in time, but I can certainly get one by next week's meeting, or I can email it to you.
Okay, well, that answers my question. At this point, if I may, I will hand out to each of the commissioners some comments that I had
Oh, great.
on various things that you can look at, and I may add to them later.
Thank you.
They not only touch on this issue today, but they touch on the amendments that are being requested to the subdivision regulations. So I'm sure I'll be standing up here again.
We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just to clarify, Chuck, too, like Director Brown said, the application that's on the website, the one that we're talking about will replace that, if it's approved.
Okay.
Okay. I just want to make sure, that was a
And
little confusing to me the way it was said, so I just want to make sure.
That will be based on whether the amendments are made to the subdivision regulations, is that correct?
No, vice versa. We have to approve, because the application changes the subdivision regulations, it has to be approved or not approved first. And then then we can make additional regulations or changes to the regulations because the application the criteria is in the subdivision regulations. Does that make sense?
Okay, I'm totally confused now.
So the process is going to be, next week, we're going to discuss the exemption form again, which will replace the application that's currently online. If it's approved,
Assuming it is.
yeah, assuming we approve some form of this, then we will use that information to make additional changes to the subdivision regulations. Because that form affects the subdivision regulations.
So do we get a chance to comment on that?
Yeah.
That form,
So-
that'll be next week.
Yes.
Next week will be the form again, and assuming we make a decision on it next week, the public hearing is scheduled for the 25th for the subdivision regs.
Okay. I knew there was a hearing scheduled
Yes.
for the 25th, but in the process of all
Yeah.
this.
It gets confusing.
Kind of lost track of what
Yeah.
So-
each of it is, so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll keep doing my homework.
Thank you for the notes, that helps.
It's like he knew to have it written down. Thanks, Chuck.
Okay, the last items on the agenda, unless anybody has anything else, are the minutes. We have minutes from February 11th, and I think we've all looked at these.
I move to approve minutes from February 11th.
I will second that.
There's a motion and a second to approve the minutes from February 11th commission meeting. Is there any public comment? Any public comment? All those in favor of approving the minutes, February 11th, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Pass that down to this person. We have 3 or 4 sets of claims. The first set is for $296,453.19. That is payroll. Is there a motion?
Are you new
Oh,
all
we're going to do
together?
them all together. I forgot.
We're all about efficiency.
Well, I
Right?
know, right? 5 years doing the other way, I forget it. Next set is $96,781.12. Next set is $27,193.30. And the final set is $10,495.74. Is there a motion?
I would move to approve claims in set amount.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second to approve the claims. Any public comment? Any public comment? All those in favor of approving the claims in set amount signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Motion passes. Anything else for the good of the order? We will adjourn. Oh, yes. You may, of course. Say your name and spell your name.
McAlpine, McAlpine. Just a little verification. Will I get a written form or written verification on the approval of the funds, or will that be available for me to get a written approval of the funding for the vote?
Yes, we'll get that done today, get it signed, and get it to you.
Okay.
Would digital copy be okay?
Yes, yes, anything in black and white.
Okay.
You know, anything on paper would be good.
Okay.
How will you get that to me, Jesse? Should I come pick it up, or?
I can email it to you, or you can come pick it up. I can let you
Okay.
know when it's ready, either way.
Okay, what's easiest for you, just an email?
Sure, that works.
Okay.
Okay. And I have your email, I'm
Okay,
pretty sure.
very
so.
good. And then, as far as the mechanics of the funding goes, will that funding be between you guys and the sheriff's department? Will it just be a transfer of money, or how you expect that to proceed?
I am not sure how that process goes.
Usually the accounting office will transfer that money from the trust board to the
To the
sheriff's
sheriff's department?
or search and rescue, however you want that done. You all need to work that out.
Okay.
Yeah, not
Oh,
you, sorry.
You're looking at me, I'm
No,
like,
no,
what
no,
am I
I was
doing?
looking at him.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Where, is it easier to just do it, submit it directly to the search and rescue?
Yeah, we have our own.
You have your own
so,
account,
yeah,
and that's where the 50,000 is coming from.
That's correct.
Okay. I'll work with
However you guys
accounting
wanna
and
do it.
talk to them.
Yeah.
Make sure there's no issue with that,
Shoot
but
me an email if there's any questions or anything like that.
will do.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're still live.
What's that?
We're still live if we want to end it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought we ended it.
No, because
You didn't
Tim,
hit your thing.
because
Oh.
Tim.
Because Tim didn't, yes. I hit my thing and then.
Done.
Done. Sorry.